I just don't know what to do. There's so many barriers to digital literacy. I just don't know how I could overcome them. I mean, my main worry is that people don't have the access to technology because they can't afford it for one reason or another. They can't have the new Apple iPods, iMacs, laptops, smart TVs, and I just don't know how I can help them overcome that. For every barrier, there's always going to be a way to overcome it. For example, what you've just said, not being able to access the technology at home because they can't afford the tools, there are so many ways that you can overcome this. There are internet cafes where I've got free Wi-Fi that might have laptops or computers. You've also got the local library, which you can sign up for free, which is usually open 5 or 6 days a week, so it's just down to checking the actual library opening times. You can access the internet for free as long as you've got a local library card. Yes, you may not have technology at home, but you might be able to save up and rent a device. And nowadays, technology is constantly evolving, so you might be able to get a device that's slightly older, that you still be able to have all the software on for a very cut price. Other options are local colleges and schools, if that's where you work or you teach. They have also got access to computer and technology there, and also training providers. Okay, so that's the barrier to not having the technology or being able to afford the technology. What would you do in this situation where, say, the older generation, they haven't been brought up with it, so they've got a fear of it, they don't know what they're doing, they just don't see the point in it, so they've got that barrier naturally because they haven't been brought up in the environment. On the other side, you've got younger people that haven't been shown how to use the technology properly, so they're scared of it as well. So you've got both the old and the younger generations that have got a fear of the technology or the tools, and they just don't know what to do, so it's a barrier to them even being able to use digital literacy and have the right skills. Okay, this is a really easy one to overcome from my perspective. For the older generation, there are younger people that can obviously show them the tools and technologies. That might be for a grandparent, it might be their children or their grandchildren. They can show them how to use things. There are also places like Barclays now that provide life skills that do technology where they can show you how to use things. There are tutorials. There is access for everybody. Local colleges and also remote trainers also do like training courses, so they can get themselves onto that, and if they're not comfortable with doing it remotely because they're not sure of the technology, they can sign them up to free courses at college. And this is all things that can be flexible around them to help overcome their fears. There are so many things out there that they can use. It's just about tapping into what would work best for them. Okay, I can see your point. Yeah, there are so many things that people can do to overcome a fear because there is so much out there. But what about if there is somebody and they can't use their laptop because they can't see, or they've got a visual or a physical impairment where they can't get on? What can I do in those instances? I really don't know what options are available. Okay, so obviously visual and physical impairments are two different things in itself. So if somebody has got a visual impairment, you can get guidance from things like social services, carers, family. There are things that they can access out there to help support. There are also devices that can be adapted to suit whatever their impairments are. So obviously a lot of email keyboards nowadays have got Braille on them, or they can put Braille overlays on them. Also, if it's just a visual impairment and they need a separate screen, then you can change the colour of the screen. You can make font larger or smaller. There are lots of applications to enhance anybody's experience when they're dealing with a physical impairment, or furthermore, if they are blind. You've got speech to text as well. This is a really good tool. Along with visual impairments, you've obviously got physical impairments, and that can range. So that can be from somebody having no limbs to they might have broken their wrist, they can't type. There are lots of ranges of physical impairments that might happen, but it's about finding the right resources and right tools that work for them and adapting things, as stated, with visual impairments to overcome the issues that they might have. It could be that it's, again, the speech to text, so that it's writing for them because they can't access the writing. It could be that they've got a problem with their back and they need a lighter laptop. There are so many resources out there. It's just finding what their specific need is and then figuring out what resources or what things can be put into place to support them best. So there's always something that can help. I would not want somebody to think that because they've got an impairment that they wouldn't be able to learn. Learning is available to all. You've told me how to get over the barrier of physical and visual impairments. What about if the learner has a learning difficulty such as dyslexia, dyscalculia or autism? How am I supposed to help them overcome the barriers of digital literacy regarding that? Again, as with visual and physical impairments, somebody that has a learning difficulty, it's really important to find out what their specific needs are. So for things like dyslexia, it may be that they need a coloured overlay or they change the colour of the font on the screen. And these are all things that you can do to the technology. It's just about knowing what that specific person needs so you can put them in place to overcome it. With regards to autism, it would be looking at what is their barrier to learning. So it could be that they're struggling to understand, so they may require an additional person to be sat with them to explain it in a different way. It's really underpinning what it is and then matching whether it needs an educational course, whether it needs support in a different way, whether the carer can give additional support, friends and family, if there's web pages, sites that you can show that could explain things in a different way. There's so many resources, it's just underpinning and finding out what they need. Okay, thanks Bart. You've been a really good help to me today. I now think I know how to overcome some of the barriers that I face and I've seen people face around me with digital literacy, and I'll take the information with me that you've given away and hopefully I can help some of my friends and family out in the future. Thank you.